But Rosa Luxemburg had it better. She understood in her book, The Accumulation of Capital, that everywhere it goes, capital destroys the natural, what she called the natural economy. And since we understand capital to be this ineluctably expansive force, Marx points this out. This is what makes capital part of what makes capital the first mode of production in human history that has no internal limit on its expansion, and why the capitalist era is the era of the most rapid destruction of nature. Because as Marx pointed out, if the circuit of circulation of the capital is not any more commodity sold for money to buy more commodities, but rather it's money paid for commodities sold to make more money, and out of that you get the notion of surplus value and the exploitation of labor as the value-producing commodity and so forth and so on, invested in human being, all of which accounts for, in the best way I know of, the struggles about labor and the struggles that capital and labor have waged against each other. But the other point that Marx noted was that there is no internal limit because money has no limit. The M term, there's no limit. And define the novelty of our predicament, not because there hasn't been capitalism, but not because what's happened is that the capitalist expansion has now created a notion, a situation where, first of all, the resource base is running out, and second of all, positive feedback loops are being introduced which operate independently of human will. So you're getting all of these weird relations in the ecosphere, all of which underlies what happens to places like Orissa in West Bengal and the like in India, or Alberta, or wherever, or West Virginia, and it's that beast that tears apart the earth in its insane cancerous drive towards growth. Okay. And notice that of all of the parameters of capitalist accumulation, the impulse to growth is never challenged by any of our pundits, economists. You know, your career is finished if you challenge the necessity of capitalist growth. Ask Herman Daly. Tried to do it at the World Bank. Enter Al Gore. Ta-da, ta-da. Fresh from his Academy Award, fresh from his Nobel Peace Prize, occupying a lot of the headlines these days. I wondered why Al Gore wasn't running for the presidency of the United States, and I realized that he has bigger things on his mind. He's got a new book coming out, I forget what it's called, but it's sort of about everything you can do to make the planet a more ecologically sane place, and through business means. And again, the New York Times, to its credit, called attention to this in an article a few days ago. I don't know if any of you read this, where it turns out that he's been investing in companies which then, get huge payoffs because of government policies that he's advocating and which the Obama administration is going along with, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, he's involved in biofuels. He's involved in sustainable fish farming. He's involved in electric vehicles. He's involved in the making of solar panels. And this company he just invested in improves the efficiency of the grid. And again, because what Gore is doing is syntonic with the media system and the ideological system, he gets a lot of good press. And interestingly, the right wing is grousing about him, saying that you know, that he's investing hundreds of millions of dollars in companies that would benefit from decreased CO2 emissions. He's trying to make money on lowering carbon. And Gore, when confronted this, Gore said, "Of course I am. Why should I be ashamed of that? I mean, you know, that's what we should do. We should try to make money. We should try to shift the business model over to making of ecologically sane and sensible investments." I think what he's trying to do is build a new sector of capital, you know, eco dollars. He's trying to control the new ecological sector of capital. Who knows? There may be an eco bubble soon, in these, because the problem with what Gore is suggesting is that it still obeys the same laws of capitalist accumulation. Don't take my word for it. This is actually his associate, whose name I wrote down but can't read my writing. It begins with Y-A-D-O-R. And he's a PhD astrophysicist in Stanford. He says, look, all we're trying to do, Gore and himself, is trying to make more money than others, doing the same thing, and to do it and doing it in a way that is superior in ethics and impacts. So that's all they're trying to do, is to try to make a lot of money by doing it that way. Now, nobody bothers to ask Gore or his associate, well, does this mean that you're going to have to exploit workers just like other capitalists? How come we don't hear about the workers in your industries? Oh, I guess maybe the workers don't exist because you're just sort of automatically producing commodities. How can you escape the outcomes that afflicted Orissa and Bihar and India when you're on the same wheel towards oblivion, the same wheel of accumulation and growth? How can you talk about reducing carbon when you're a servant of, an apostle of the system of endless expansion and accumulation? Gore, I'm sure, would say, I wish you were here. He said, look, we're going to do this to make capitalism more efficient. We're going to do this to make solar energy possible. We're going to do it to bring about a new ecologically sane era, and that will take the load off ecosystems and all that. But how can he avoid the competition? He said, we're going to do it than the others, except we're going to do it in superior ethics. We're going to try to make more money than the others. Well, that's fair enough. That's what a capitalist does, is try to make more money. But the more money it makes, the more money the capitalist makes, the more money has to be invested. The more money has to seek the most profitable outlet, right? And who's to say in advance that that profitable outlet will be the ecologically superior apparatuses that he's making? Why won't they be cell phones? Well, cell phones require coltan, a mineral. The whole vast country of Congo has been torn up by wars over coltan and the like. He's trying to have it both ways. He's trying to say that we can accumulate without accumulation because we're doing it in a good cause. And that's one of those good intentions, in my view, with which the road to hell is paved.